on my phone. I got a plan. Take a chance.
You're a fucking kid.
You can get out. No, you can get
you up.
I got real. I got stamps. Give a fuck by the paper cut. Count again.
She got you tweaking, huh?
Look at the grin on my face. Hanging with gremlins, giving me game. I'm keeping up, I'm like him with a K. I'm heating up, I might hit on the day. Hiding my head in the Hennessy, hiding my head. They might try me like Kennedy can't. Get off my pivot on pivotal days. Pivot my brain to residual gain.
But also cut on the music to get in the mood, get the spirit. Ennio Morricone is the motherfucking GOAT. Like, I'll get into that later though. But he is the greatest to do this.
Soundtrack was charting for a year after the movie released.
I didn't even know that. I just like I've always loved Morricone. And in my opinion, this ain't even his best score. His best score, in my opinion, is what's the other Sergio Leone movie? It's not a part of the Dollar trilogy. It is
Once Upon a Time in America or West.
Not that Once Upon a Time in the West. That is, I'm not the biggest fan of the movie, but that might be the greatest score of all time.
It was the second one during for a few dollars more when Indio was playing the recording, like the locket was open.
Yeah,
he was building around it. Ooh. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm like super sweaty, so I had to change my shirt.
It's all good. I just went for a run.
I didn't notice you changed your shirt. Was the other one blue too?
Nah, it was like pistachio green, but I just took a bath before this. So.
Oh yeah, that South Carolina heat after washing up definitely gonna make you regret washing up.
No, I mean dude, my muscles were like just super sore, so I wanted to take a bath before we did this, and I did, and it's like, I don't know, hot bath leaves you sweaty, but I'd be all right. Oh yeah, speaking of, that's a good idea to get on that before.
Well, I found this. This has been lost in my room since December, and I just found it.
Dude, that is December. Dude, if I found a pen from December, I'd be like, thank you, Lord. Dude, that is a crazy pull. 7 months?
Were you crashing out in December when you couldn't find it?
Kinda, yeah. It wasn't as bad.
Yeah, it was.
It came in a 2-pack, and I got them both free for Christmas because like I was working at a smoke shop, and they just gave them to me. So I still had one, but I was like, but what the fuck is the other one at? Oh, y'all good to do like a little script read after this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to my ex for putting me on to Mellow Fellow. Shit's the shit. But anyway, wow. We're on episode 5, guys.
We are on episode 5. We've been cruising quite along.
It's really moving. Like the summer hasn't been moving fast, but this has been moving fast.
Cool. Y'all want to get started?
Yeah. Hello, my friends, our friends. Welcome to another episode of Three-Headed Dragon Movie Reviews and Speak. I'm Jake Clancy.
I'm Alex Montgomery.
I am Dante Brown.
And the movie we have on tap for this week is the good, the bad, and the ugly. A little background about this fantastic movie. This was originally released in Italy in 1967 by director Sergio Leone, starring Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef. I'm watching a bunch of his like Western movies these past couple of days.
Van Cleef, bro. I always have. He's just a cool dude.
Stuff, yeah. He's got that like it's that figure that when he looks at you, you're kind of like scared in a way that you're not really sure to.
Yeah.
It's like smooth with it.
Yeah.
But this was released the following year in America, 1968, and has been a staple in Western movies since. What are you guys' thoughts on? Have you guys seen it before, or first time?
So I had only seen it once before, and I can't even remember when that was. So again, sort of keeping with the theme, being reintroduced to movies that we haven't seen in a really long time or movies that are completely new. It was fun to revisit it, and it's so long, in a good way. Like there's so much to this movie, and I really don't remember it being as entertaining or beautiful or like just as good of a movie as it was. And then I sat down, and maybe I just wasn't like I wasn't really paying attention last time. It was just like, oh, whatever, I'll just watch a movie. But this time I was like, damn, put me on a saddle and give me a gun, coach. I'm ready to play. Like, dude, it was a fun movie, and all three of the characters are just perfect. They're so different and so interesting. And funny enough, coincidence, fate, and $200,000 worth of gold brings them back together again and again.
So me, I've seen this movie. First time I watched the movie probably like 2021, and I loved it back then. And it was dope. And I mean, since then, actually, I've maybe watched it another time, but I know I watched like parts of it a lot, for like a lot of different reasons. And I'll say, I'm gonna start it off with a hot take, bro. I guess the average American Western is so mid, is so buns. Oh my god! And this movie is like the pinnacle of why they're so ass. Like, and to branch off that hot take, John Wayne is one of the worst movie stars the screen has ever seen. I hate John Wayne. He's like got negative aura, dog. Like they be trying to convince me John Wayne was getting bad bitches. Like you can't convince me that, dog.
He was getting bad bitches though,
because he had money. Most auraless movie star we've ever seen.
Ooh, that's an interesting topic. Do you have a rebuttal to the most auraless actor or actress out there, Jake?
So I'm looking for someone who. Now, am I looking for someone who has negative aura or no aura? Because you can get someone who come on screen and they've got no impact whatsoever. And you're kind of like, oh, they're there. But this could be a good thing if you don't want your character to stand out too well. But if you've got a character coming in and actively depleting everyone else around him, kind of making it worse, there is aura. It's just
like every time you see them, you just like, bro, shut up. Like go somewhere else. Get off my screen. You looking on the wall?
Yeah, no, I am, because I'm like, what performance was like terrible?
And he's not even just a performer. We're talking just actor.
Jason Statham, complete bullshit. Give me steroids and I'll be that guy.
Got a little bit of aura to him though. He's had aura.
Oh, but he's like, all right, he's like the Dollar General Liam Neeson. All right, like Liam Neeson is the bad action movie every 18 months, and like you just watch it because it's Liam Neeson and you know what it is. But like Jason Statham, you know what it is, and you don't want to watch it.
For every Jason Statham badass moment he also has a moment where he takes a lamp, knocks it on someone's head, and says "lights out," and then you're sitting there in the theater like, "Oh, okay, yeah," because we go, "Oh, it's a lamp and it's lights out." Oh, I get it. It's hilarious. Sometimes
I feel like them Jason Statham, Liam Neeson action movies are a money laundering scheme.
Was they doing a Beekeeper? I can get behind a Beekeeper. Yeah,
bro. But like out there right now that you haven't heard of that came out this year.
I'd say my favorite like Statham movie or Jason Statham movie that's like a Jason Statham movie is The Mechanic. But then the best movie that he's in is Snatch.
Snatch is a dope movie, yeah. Snatch is a dope movie.
Brad Pitt kind of set the ground for like these. Jason Statham is a normal working dude. No, wait, he's actually an assassin. Who could have guessed?
All crazy looking motherfucker. Like, technically, if you want to count it, he had a cameo in Collateral, and I feel like if we're counting that, that's the best movie he's been in. Snappy was dope though.
Who was he in Collateral?
He's like a security guard or something. Or like he worked at the airport, I think.
With Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx?
Yeah.
Was it before he blew
Really?
up? I mean,
Hold
this is
on,
what, 2004?
I don't doubt you, but I want to look this up.
Yeah, it's such a like miss it and it's gone kind of thing.
I looked up. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Now you're good. We immediately got off.
I know.
We'll come back first.
Side road we saw, we took.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he was. He's credited as Airport Man.
Yeah.
Collateral.
That's the next name of his next movie, is The Airport Man. He's a TSA agent.
Honestly, if you put more on that at Vegas, you might win something.
Nah, Netflix already just did that TSA agent movie, bro.
Yeah, Carry On. Jason Bateman.
Yeah, the other Jason, the Bateman.
Hating it.
Bateman and Bateman.
That would be a cool movie.
I'm trying to think of like some actor who like complete nepotism got their role and has like not brought any sort of life to any of their roles since.
Dakota Johnson.
Madam Web was peak.
That movie.
I thoroughly enjoyed my time watching Madam Web.
Legit. The thing I was most
your time doing everything else but watching the movie. Shut the fuck up.
The thing I was most excited for in Madam Web was that Mike Epps was gonna be on screen, and they killed him off in like 2 minutes. Dog, I was mad the rest of the movie, bro. Like, I was heated. Like, oh yeah, Mike Epps in this. Maybe it might be I know. At least it'll be a little funny. Wasn't they killed my dog off? Like if you was gonna just kill him off, go get somebody else for that. Like, let Mike Epps just talk. Like, we need more movies of Mike Epps just talking.
Right.
The overall rating of that movie would probably go up 2-3 stars if
like, and Madam Web is such a funny movie because like I like all the people in it. I think they all work. None of them was really like making me cringe or nothing like that. But like, something about it was just weird and off, and like it's not saying the writing was good or anything. Like, I know it wasn't great, but still, like, I thought it could have passed off as like oh, okay, it's another random superhero movie, not complete ass.
So sometimes these superhero movies, you can tell when an actor or actress really likes the character, like the source material that it's coming from. Like when you have, someone, especially with these bigger movies, Superman. Everyone knows like Superman, and the odds are that if you're, an actor growing up, you followed some Superman media. Madam Web is kind of an obscure Spider-Man character to a point where if you don't know Spider-Man characters, you don't know Madam Web.
Yeah.
And if you don't know a character, it's kind of hard to
care.
Yeah. And that was kind of shown when every single actor/actress in that movie was shitting on it in the press release, the press tour.
Sony was on a stinker streak, like Morbius. I watched like 10 minutes of that during work. It was cheap.
The Venom movies were, they were fun, but they just weren't Venom. Like I want to see an R-rated Venom, like actually go to town and tear people's heads off, and not just. Granted, I loved Eddie. We need more pizza rolls, but for 3 movies,
yeah. But so your answer was
I can't really think of anyone with less aura than John. I'll keep thinking though.
At whatever point randomly during the episode you think of something, no matter what, just cut the person off and yell the name.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's start with the introduction of the movie here. We are introduced to our 3 main characters, the ugly, the bad, and the good. Well, real quick, this is the 3rd movie in the Dollars trilogy. It's kind of the same as like the Hot Fuzz trilogy, where it's, they're 3 in a row, but they're not completely connected. I mean, Lee Van Cleef kind of just has
Dude look like the other dude. Isn't this the
twin brother? But yeah, we are open. We are shown these first 3 three characters kind of just going about their life, typical things they do in the West. And what are your thoughts? What was your favorite of the three intros? Which was your least favorite?
That's a good question. They were all great intro. The Lee Van Cleef one was so like tough, like I'm the bad, like yes, I will shoot this child. I never cared, but the Tuco one is so straight and to the point. Like we see he's kind of a bad motherfucker, like because like he automatically killed all 2 or 3 of those dudes, and then but then we see him accidentally bust through the glass eating a big chicken turkey leg or whatever, and like oh, he's kind of a goofball. But what was the man with no names introduction again? I can't.
It was him getting Tuco, him capturing Tuco, and then firing the.
Also the opening scene.
Yeah.
Oh dang.
Because of course, when we first see him in classic, hero fashion, he's just walking up to the 3 dudes surrounding Tuco. You don't see his face or anything, just him and all his swagger, hat down, hand on his gun, looking as cool as he can.
Yeah, they don't show the whole silhouette except for this like small outline of a person, and they do that for all the characters when they introduce them. Even the three guys that are going up to to kill Tuco at the beginning, it's like boom, right on their face, right on their face, right on their face, in their eyes. And slowly you get to see the setting. But with Clint Eastwood, it was like a shot of his eyes, a shot of his gun, a shot of his garb, a shot of his boots, a shot of his face again. Yeah, that was very interesting. It was like we're not gonna show you like who this guy is just yet, but he's a bad motherfucker, pretty much. Right.
And they did that at the end too, like when they were going sorry to cut, but when they're like rapid fire showing all of them their faces and their guns, they showed Clint the least. And like every time they showed him, it was just his eyes and his gun. They showed everybody else like full face on. But yeah, that was an interesting little side note. But I don't know, man. That's a great question. You can't put one above the other. I really don't think. Unless y'all want to try. I'll listen.
Fuck, marry, kill. This is our first fuck, marry, kill of the series for Three-Headed Dragon. Which intro would you fuck, would you marry, or would you kill?
Fuck Clint Eastwood's intro. No, I meant fuck Lee Van Cleef's intro. Marry Clint Eastwood's intro and probably kill Tuco just because it was the shortest.
Yeah, I'd probably run the same way. Lee Van Cleef's intro was a bit messy. It was kind of all over the place, back and forth. He was killing one dude, killing the dude who originally hired him. That's something you don't want long term. That's something you want in one night and then you're gone the next day. Whereas, Clint Eastwood's intro, this is something he can keep running back. He's hitting this Tuco scam in multiple towns. You're done with Tuco. You can bring in a new guy who you have a deal with. This can go on a little bit longer. I like a steady relationship with this one. And as for Tuco's, yeah, unfortunately that's the only one left and the only option left is kill. But the cards fall a certain way,
I'd have to agree with both of you, and I think it's funny how we kill the ugly, we fuck the bad, and we marry the good. Isn't that how it always works out, huh?
Kind of tough, actually. That's kind of tough. The fact that, and going back to my point about the average American Western being mid, it's because they don't have the same sense of adventure and journey in them as the spaghetti Westerns do, which is crazy because they're not, I feel like the American Western is trying to be so, this is what happened, and it was like this. And even though none of that is true, every single one of them are very historically inaccurate, but I don't even care about that. It's just that to me, they just feel so bland compared to this. We feel like how grand everything is in this movie. And I don't know, like the atmosphere of this film was on a different level. This aspect is really what kind of like this whole segment really was kind of solidified it for me as this great adventure. Like, yes, we're kind of in a hurry because we have to get to this money first before everybody else, but we're still living life. We're still traveling, and like traveling through Texas, especially during that time, it's going to take some time. And like, we're really spending this time with them. And that's, to me, is what separates it from the American Western. Everything in those American Westerns, like even if the movie is long, it's so, oh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. It doesn't give itself time to breathe. And I don't know, that's what really separates them, in my opinion. Besides like the great cinematography. Not saying like, John Ford had trash cinematography or these other people had trash. Like, I just don't think it was as progressive as this movie's and the other spaghetti westerns, especially the ones that Leone did.
Is Tombstone a good movie?
I've never gotten past a certain part in Tombstone, I'm gonna be honest.
How many times have you attempted to get past this one part?
Like,
Is
4.
Unforgiven a good movie?
Not saying Tombstone's a bad movie. I haven't seen it in full, but I just never. Somebody should pick it one day so I get the chance to watch it.
Is Unforgiven a good movie?
I don't know.
So the answer, ladies and gentlemen, is yes. While there are a lot of, I would agree, shitty westerns, there are a couple good ones.
My favorite American westerns are like the trippy ones, like Drugstore Cowboy, or like what's the Jarmusch movie with Johnny Depp?
Le Blessé?
Rango.
No,
Dude, Rango is the best fucking western ever. That is an awesome movie. That is an awesome movie. That is something we could talk about for 3 hours.
I was talking about this movie called Dead Man that came out in the 90s, but Ranko cool too. Dead Man's a super dope movie. Like, it's real trippy. It's about like, it's in a Western movie. It's all in black and white, but it's like that Native American kind of like, it's kind of like Pocahontas was a Western. It's weird though. Oh, actually, one thing I want to go back to real quick. One of the greatest opening title cards of all time. How did they do that back then? The animating team, there was always like a specific person who was like their job was to do this, like make opening title cards, and I'm definitely getting one for Rico Juice, not gonna lie. But one of the greatest opening title sequences of all time. So like tone setting, perfect for that kind of druggy late 60s era of visuals, like the splatter of blood all over everything, the fonts, the actual imagery on screen, like with the colors, like the vibrant colors. 10 out of 10, but I'm digressing. Let's keep going.
Sick. All right, so we're
Why
introduced.
was Clint Eastwood the good?
I was wondering that ever since he kind of screwed. Now I know Tuco was doing the same thing, like, I need some more money because it's my neck on the line. But Clint Eastwood was kind of just like
murder.
Yeah, I'm taking the money.
Just first to really screw somebody over.
He's white in the 60s. What do you want?
Lundy. I mean, yeah, we can go with that.
I mean, I don't know. Like aside from being semi-redeemable as a non-murderer, he commits every other crime.
He murdered a lot of people.
Sorry, doesn't murder his like partner per se.
Yeah,
he left Tuco alive at the end, even through all the turmoil and all that stuff. Still put him through hell, but he's not totally evil.
Yeah, I get why he's the good, because he did have like the strongest like moral code out of the three. Because like Lee was just like pure whatever's best for me piece of shit. Tuco was kind of the same way, but he was funnier about it, so he could be the ugly, and he wasn't as cold-blooded. And Tuco also had redeemable qualities. Honestly, we learned the most about his character when like we visit his brother in the church. Like, it gets real deep with Tuco all of a sudden, and then like just like how Tuco kind of just like shrugs it off, like they get in the carriage, he cracking jokes and everything. That's just kind of how the rest of the movie goes, and I love that because that's how life really be with a lot of people. Tuco really was like one of my favorite side characters ever. Not gonna lie, like I remember the first time watching this, Tuco was like a big takeaway for me because like he was so dope to me.
You call him a side character? He had the most screen time in this film.
Which I didn't even mean, like, it's just crazy. But is this really Tuco's film?
This is Tuco's movie. He walked away with $100,000 in the day.
I am glad to cut forward a little bit. I am glad they split the money. I feel like it was if he literally left him there to hang, he would have been the worst character in the movie, because that means he would have stood on zero morals. But I'm glad, and I figured it could probably happen, but I'm glad Lee was the one to get shot. But I don't want to talk too much about the end right now. I hate doing that.
We're introduced to the characters. The good is rolling with the ugly, and the bad is looking for good old one-eyed Bill Carson, which he hears is moving around and goes to seek him out. Then Clint Eastwood kind of taps out with that scam he's pulling with Tuca, you know? Deems him not worthy than more than what, $3,000? Yeah, you're not more than a $3,000 man.
Can we just touch upon this real quick? How has no one pieced together that the dude who continuously brings in Tuco is the same dude who shoots him free?
Word travels slow.
That's the beautiful thing of like the scam and, you know, the whole plot of pretending to be a Confederate soldier or a Union soldier, changing your name, doing all this stuff. It's like it was all only possible because of the day and age. You know, you couldn't even fathom anything like that now. But literally running around town to town because there's a marshal in each town and the marshal knows what reward he owes you if he owes you. That's it. What a life. But they don't ever seem like they're living very well. You know what I mean? Like if they're getting a couple grand each time, like that's definitely not nothing, right? Like if you split that one. By the way, the movie takes place in 1862, so that's where we're basing our inflation data off of. But if you were to get $1,500 back then, so half of that split, you know, of the 3,000, it's $47,742. Like you made that a couple times. Why are you still a cowboy? Like, what are you doing?
Love for the game.
Couple $100 grand up, you gotta go cash in somewhere.
We gotta buy bullets. Bullets are pretty expensive back in the day.
You gotta have somewhere to stay. They're gonna drink.
Horse food. Oh yeah, you're always intoxicated. Think of how much cigars he has. He is smoking a cigar every single time we see him. To smoke those numbers, you gotta be packing like, you know, a couple $100 a year.
And then in Tuco's case, he was definitely like a degenerate. Like
Yeah,
Tuco was money. You know, Tuco blowing money because he robbed the gun store guy, so he wasn't buying bullets or nothing.
What a fucking moron! How do you own a gun store? And this guy comes in, he is obviously trying, like, not a good egg. And you're just saying, yeah, you can have here. Oh, you want more bullets to put in that gun that you already practiced shot? Sure, here's another one. You don't have a gun pointed on any dude who walks in your store looking to try your shit. This should be like basic gun store in 1860 101.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to work in a gun store. That's like that just kind of seemed like gun store and bar owner, like very dangerous jobs back then.
Bar could be fun though, because there's like you are never the person who is getting in the fight at the bar. It's always two drunk folk, and then you got to be there to be like
straight bullets is like scary,
bro.
they always have a hot wife though. Weird storyline. The bartender, you know, the guy that owns the bar in any of these towns always has a hot wife.
If you are a hot woman in 1860, who are you marrying? The guy who lets you drink for free, or the sheriff who risks getting shot by a cowboy and then will leave you and your child with nothing?
Good point. And then usually I feel like every movie I've seen, old Western I've seen with the bar, there was always like their place where they stayed, like in the bar. Like
Yeah, it's typically it's them, and then it's like, you know, you have the tavern where it's mostly drinking, some food, and then it's like 5 rooms you could stay in, but 2 of them are occupied by the house whores, you know what I mean? And so it's like there's your half of your town's economy.
Then you have like the bank and the sheriff's office, and that's your entire town.
everybody was gambling everything.
Gambling, yes.
Yeah, that's true. You all had poker tables, and I'm sure your smarter owners probably bought like a roulette table or, you know, different casino games that were at least feasible back then, if you're smart.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot of good actually, probably owning a bar, but also like, you know, some people are crazy and they will come in and might just shoot you. So that's also the risk.
But also, you're friendly. If you're a friendly bartender, every patron in the bar, someone pulls a gun on you, and then they've got 20 guns pointed at them. It can be quite fun. Always have good music around. Cards are constantly being played.
So Clint Eastwood, you know, Blondie deems that Tuco's not worth more than $3,000, and so he kind of just leaves him. Right, you know, and Tuco doesn't take very kindly to that, so he hires 3 guys to go get Mr. Blondie. And how'd that end up?
I should peer above him, drop their ropes. Like, oh yeah, we're here now.
Bro, like a lot of people kind of
Dude,
just
that scene is so
Tuco is as bad as the rest of them, dog. Like Tuco was different.
because he knows they're there, and he's like, if I were just randomly gonna run into 3 guys, I might want to split $4,000 4 ways with him, but that'll never happen. What the fuck are you talking about?
Side question: Clint Eastwood's character really was like a man in the shadows. Because how did he never get a bounty?
Right, especially like combine that with him running the scheme how many times with different people? Could we see was it Shorty, the other dude, and the fact that 4 separate times was he snuck up on in the film? How many times is he just like chilling there? Then all of a sudden that gun comes in frame. It's like,
Side, I completely forgot about Shorty, and he really got Shorty killed.
Yeah, he literally goes, "Sorry, Shorty." Like that was just it.
And poor Shorty's mind is probably thinking, "Oh, sweet! Like I'm gonna snag this half my bounty because this guy seems pretty trustworthy. Oh, I shouldn't have trusted him."
Such a shit way to die.
No, like I'd come back and haunt. Like there's no other way.
To
They're
be
not about
fair,
to just live a good life.
if you are worth $10,000 and someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, I'm going to turn you in and then I'm going to free you and we're going to split the $10,000."
But
I don't know about you
Hey,
guys.
I took it as like him and Shorty had already had some sort of relationship,
Hmm.
unless Shorty was just super stupid.
Could be. I mean, he is a criminal with a wanted poster in a time where telegram was the best form of communication.
I also really enjoy how, I don't know how they did it way back when, but all these wanted posters are extremely accurate, almost like they had them sit down and sketch out wanted poster and then just had the perfect face on them. Tuco looked spot on, and that's just not even like, oh yeah, I saw him running away from the bank with some money. That was a no, I know his face well sort of draw.
Agreed.
Probably
Agreed.
Someone who's a lot more smarter in history, please explain to us in the comments how they used to make wanted posters.
Yeah, it either got to be like a snitch or just a eyewitness and a guess. Tuco probably just is very easily drawable.
All right, draw him real quick. We'll take 10 minutes. Go draw.
So Tuco, he hires the 3 guys essentially to go with him, kill Blondie, get the money back, get his revenge. There's some Spurs that enter through the door, and there are other Spurs that enter through the window, all while a Confederate company and cannon fire are coming through the town.
So these 4 men have broken into the Man with No Name's, like a place where he's staying. And this scene, it builds tension because it cuts through between, you think 4, but there's actually only 3 of them sneaking up the hallway, going down, grabbing his doorknob. Then you cut to Clint Eastwood, playing with his gun a bit, cleaning it out, and the Confederacy soldiers marching, and it builds this sort of tension that happens throughout the movie where, as we were saying, it keeps bouncing between the parties, which keeps you on the brim for anticipation. And then, he kills 3 of them. 2 goes behind him, and he pulls up the noose and says, "Oh, just like you did to me, I do unto you." And this is one of the first times where, if I may call the Man with No Name a fraud, for if it wasn't for a stray cannonball hitting the building they were in, he was a goner in that specific part of time.
Oh, that's funny. Nah, I didn't even think about that. He got some fraud in him. He's a fate merchant. This is the first time we're seeing the theme of the news be used as like a get back, and I really love how they kept getting each other back. But Tuco was completely justified. Like,
Yes,
stranded, Tuco had to walk like 60 miles.
with a noose on his head.
In his hands, like that's crazy. And the special effects, actually, I want to get into that. He was looking so crusty both times. Like, later on when he made Clinton do the same thing, they were both looking crazy. The art department was stupid.
Yeah, I mean, that was like a week out in the sun to look like that. All your lips all like chapped up.
It was tough to look at, and that's what made it good.
Yeah.
They did a good job. They all got cancer later on in life.
Oh, they actually got sunburnt for that?
Oh, no. I'm just talking about like the characters in that world. They probably got
Oh my gosh, yeah. I can't even imagine,
like whole like boils growing in. I get excited.
No, it's all all good. So, Tuco is caught up with Blondie. He's got him. We're essentially interrogating Bill Carson at this point, right? And then eventually Tuco sees that Bill is pushed to the complete edge, will not be able to speak if you don't go get him water. Goes to grab him water, only to find out that the somehow still alive Blondie has crawled his white ass over to the carriage and started talking to the man himself.
Saved by the plot again.
Oh,
Hey, respect for you've been dragged along the desert for 5 days, you're out of water, and you've been mentally tormented. To piece together real quick that if I get that piece of information, I can live. Mad props to bro.
yeah. I don't even live. I'm gonna make $100,000 at least.
So then Tuco, suddenly realizing that this man who I was going to kill because he tried to kill me, in a sense, kind of, in a way, is valuable.
Yeah.
He can no longer die because I know the cemetery, but he knows the grave. And if
Such a great element. Two characters who just got each other by the balls.
with the addition of at one point, one of the, because Tuco knows damn well that once they arrive at the cemetery, he's useless because all he was needed for was to bring them to the cemetery. They can arrive at the cemetery and then you can just get shot. And man, the name has exactly what he needs. I thought it was a great
point. Yeah, and that's kind of like his role. Whole movie that we talked about. He's got the most screen time, but he has the worst standing of the three because one knows the name of the grave, the other is cold-blooded and is gonna find out his information one way or another. He's what's his name? He is the Saeed of this movie. They're not completely the same, but they're standing in the film.
What was the question? Sorry, I had to pee and get a Diet Coke.
I just said
Coke.
Tuco is the Saeed of this movie, just because his standing is the worst of the three. Jake brought up the fact that once they would get to the grave, he would be useless because Blondie already knows the name. So what's stopping him from offering him the second when they get there?
I think that's the redeeming quality of Tuco, his trust.
He was very.
These other two guys seem very individualistic, out for their own goals, whatever. But Tuco, and it's actually good that we're going to this because this is where we go next in the story after they get the carriage, is he goes to the
church,
the Confederate soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
And they can't help him out, and so essentially that scam doesn't work because they're scamming them to try to pretend to be Confederate soldiers. But he asks if, what was his name? Pablo,
because he called him Pablito.
Correct. So Father Pablo asks if he's still there. And he says that he is. Yeah. And so so they head there, and weirdly enough, they take them both in, treat Blondie, but shut out Tuco. And it's very strange almost, this kind, right? If you're speaking of Christian character, this good Samaritan has brought this Gentile to you to be healed. This is a parable that Jesus Christ has told you, and you're slamming the door on him not once but twice. And then interestingly, before we find out, about the whole brother thing, is Tuco, this shot of Tuco, he's in the corner of what you would assume is a prayer room, just because of what's on the walls, even though it's a monastery. It's, ornate paintings of the Mother Mary and Christ and all these different, ornamental things surrounding that image. And he's a sinner in church. He's sweating and he's oh gosh. And he takes a bigger, longer swig, and we go to see that it's oh, because in his mind, this could have been his. It could have been him, right? Could have followed in his brother's footsteps, could have done something different, but he chose the other path, the bandit, and not the priest.
And actually, sorry to cut you off real quick, I'm not even sure he really made that choice for himself, because if you remember, Tuco said, you left our family first to go become a priest, you have to go to school for that or whatever. And he it kind of seemed like Tuco was left to kind of take care of their parents, but there was obviously probably some differences and back and forth. Tuco kind of wild, and once his brother came back, he just kind of hit the road, I bet. like I'm gonna do my own thing. And if you're gonna make money, there's only so many things you could do. Like you said, you could be a preacher, but doesn't really seem like he not had the discipline to do it, because I don't think it's really about that. It's just that it wouldn't have been fulfilling to him. Like Tuco was like, he wanted to live on his own accord, and that fast lifestyle was just like easier. Like, what do you mean? Like, oh, like you said, he was making 1,500. That's not nothing back then. Like, you're not. His brother wasn't seeing that, not for a while. So, and it kind of did seem like money was a factor when he was taking care of his parents, and like he kind of realized, like, yeah, I need this.
He also has to do something to make his head worth $3,000. You know, if you're worth $3,000, you didn't steal $100 worth of merchandise. You probably stole.
Do you believe all those crimes they say he did?
No, but that was one of the funnier parts of the movie, in my opinion, is when they were just listing off just every single thing that he did, and they were paying to everyone. It's still going on and on. Extortion. There was one that was like, it was like,
I have the full list.
let's hear
Are
it.
you ready?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to hang this man, Tuco Benedicto Pacifico Juan Maria Ramirez, also known as Tuco. He is being hanged for the following crimes: con artistry, arson, extortion, vandalism, assault in the first degree, impersonation, kidnapping, trespassing, theft, armed robbery in the first and second degree, as well as first degree murder, second degree murder, and mass murder.
I like
That's it?
vandalism and arson being on there.
Yeah,
No,
he's
no,
only
I-
like 2 crimes shy of being the fucking Joker.
No, I remember for a fact they said raping a woman of the white race. They definitely said that.
They did say that. You're right. They did say that. Oof. Which did he doesn't seem like the rapist type, frankly. I wonder if it was just a white crocodile tears sort of story.
Like, I could see it. Like, maybe she was a prostitute and then like Tuco like hit her or something.
Very possible.
I can also just see the wanted poster guys being like, all right, what's he what we want him for? Fucking he robbed a bank. Let's just make him seem a lot more dangerous than he actually is. And
Or that could have been Clint Eastwood trying to drive the price up.
Ooh, that's
because you did say, you know, you're reaching your limit here. You add escaped convict to that list, you know, you might be worth a couple more bucks. But
interesting.
Wait, sorry, side note. Who do y'all think, like, what do y'all think the bounty cap was? Like, who had the bounty and what was the price?
well, we could look at the second one, or Fistful of Dollars. Wasn't Indio $10,000?
Oh, he might have been. I wasn't the craziest. Fistful of Dollars is definitely my least favorite of the three. But
few dollars more is what I meant.
oh yeah, with the Hispanic dude.
Yes, Indio.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. But side note, A Fistful of Dollars is my least favorite, but I might be kind of biased against it because I just so happened to watch it after dang, what's the movie? Oh, I feel stupid. The Kurosawa movie.
So fun fact, while he's looking for that,
Yeah, that was a trivia question.
What? Oh, I won't say it then. I'll just get the point.
No, I mean it's already it's on the table. It was
No, because I didn't say the name of the movie yet, but I just know it.
the question was, which director did he take it from?
Well, that's a point for me.
Yep. Well, now you see, you ran your mouth. You could have had the free point, but I've got some backup questions that will that are being subbed in now.
I was just gonna say that I really I watched that one first, and I ended up watching this one like randomly, not knowing, like a week later, and like it kind of I didn't like it as much, so I was biased against it. And the other two are just like that much better. But what were you about to say, Alex?
I was just gonna say, for reference, the highest bounty in the Old West was Jesse James, and according to the internet, it's between 10,000 and 25,000. However, the largest ever bounty denominated in U.S. dollars by the U.S. government in the 1800s, to keep it relevant, can anyone guess who this person might have been? Who would be the most wanted man in all of the 1800s in America?
This is so that
It is man. It is a man. Yes, correct. It is a man, 1800s, and it would actually be around the time this movie took place.
I was gonna say Harriet Tubman before you said ma'am.
Harriet Tubman too.
Oh, that's okay. That's not a bad. That wouldn't be a bad guess, but no. I'll give you the bounty. It was $100,000.
They wanted him gone.
Was it
So by the way, fun fact, the gold, I did the math earlier. If you count dollar inflation for the dollar amount that the gold was worth at the time in troy ounces versus what it's worth today, it would be around $33 million in gold. But if you did it dollar amount per inflation, it would be around 9 million and change. So since it's a dollar denominated bounty, this $100,000 bounty back then would have been around $4.5 million for reference. In today's money, that's 4.5 M's on somebody's head via the government.
I might be off in years. This might be 1700s. When was Blackbeard?
Blackbeard came through my city.
Charleston?
Yeah, he was in Charleston. Like, it's all documented. It's fire.
That is tough.
I'm trying to think about both questions y'all just asked. I feel like I don't want to say nothing stupid because in my opinion, it could either be like some crazy redneck gone mad or a black man.
It's one of the two. I'll tell you that. It's either one of those darn dirty rednecks or a black man.
That was the thing I've been thinking. Like, I don't know.
Who was it? An escaped slave? Like that kind of narrows it down a lot.
This man was never a slave.
Was it like John Brown or something?
No.
So
John Brown was the one who stormed Harper's Ferry and got all the guns?
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
That's a good guess.
Okay. Were they like a straight up criminal?
Yeah.
Like Matt, like, okay, so I think it's a serial killer.
All right. You guys get one final answer each and then we'll give it out. So whenever you guys are ready to put in an answer.
Yeah, you can answer if you want. I can't even think of anybody.
I'm just gonna go, you know what? Jefferson Davis, after the fall of the Confederacy, went on the run in my headcanon and was worth $100,000.
I don't got an answer. I don't know.
Nah, come up with something. We had the former Confederate States president. And what else?
Oh man, trying to think of famous serial killers.
In the 1800s, like who was even serial killing back then?
Jack the Ripper, but that was in England.
Yeah, and I think he was in early 1900s, right?
Was he really? I thought he was in like Gotham under Gaslight kind of vibes, like 1880s.
Yeah.
Oh, he might have been.
Which, by the way, chat, viewers, audience, if you haven't checked out any of the Batman animated movies, Gotham by Gaslight's a pretty good one. It's a quite interesting take on that dynamic that you traditionally think of when you think of Batman.
I got an original superhero movie idea that's been like circulating in my head for a while.
Okay. All right. Final answer. Come on. Give me somebody.
Jack the Ripper was 1888, by the way.
And we already said it wasn't Jesse James.
No.
Bro. Yeah, I'm hard right now. I can't think of that.
All righty. You guys are both gonna like hit your head on the wall for this one. The man's crime was murder.
John Wilkes Booth? No, he
Correct.
got okay.
The man that killed Abe Lincoln in Ford Theater and
Talked
said,
about Lincoln in this movie.
"Sempos Tyrannis," and then ran off and got burned in a barn alive.
I should get another point for that.
Did that bounty get collected?
You know, I'm not sure, but there are some conspiracy theorists that say this guy came from a wealthy family and he was an actor, and there may have been other people at play that were involved in the Union and, a certain group of characters. But,
I'm actually real happy I got that.
Poor Abe Lincoln. Yeah, no, actually, poor Miss Lincoln. I mean, goodness gracious. Can you imagine? You're just like chilling at the theater, and then boom, your husband's head's just like blown like right in front of your face.
Dark side note, y'all ever seen that video of Kennedy wife?
Dude, that shit is crazy.
Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
Hell no. That's just awful. That's just bad stuff, All right, moving on. Back to the movie. Yeah, so the cannonball of plot armor has struck the building. Blondie escapes. Tuco is understandably pissed off and goes and finds the man running the same scheme with Shorty and captures him. Shoots his water, shoots his hat, no form of shade or hydration, and just makes him walk for about, 100 miles, I think they were going to go, and just tortures him mentally throughout the entire process until eventually they're met by the man himself, Bill Carson.
What's remaining of him?
What's up?
What's remaining of him?
Yeah, I mean, he is already missing an eyeball, and he's 2 inches away from the croak, but sets the stage for the second half of the film, right? We've had all this buildup as to what these characters are, what they're searching for, and finally, the men not looking for Bill Carson find Bill Carson by chance. And what do we find out from Mr. Bill dying Carson?
There is gold.
Water.
Oh, suck.
What part? Dying of thirst in the desert, or finding someone who's dying of thirst in the desert and they have access to 200,000 worth of gold, but they're not telling you because they're dying in the desert.
Or dying in the desert with no thirst, and someone's going to take your $200,000 worth of gold that you were probably hanging on a sliver of your life for, but now that you're about to die and he's not giving you water, you're going to just kill yourself mentally and give him the thing, except you've been hanging around with your 7 dead friends for the last 3 days as your 6 horses just don't shut the fuck up and stop.
Nigga like me with a gate kill.
Gone.
I can't get paid. Nobody's getting paid.
They're healed up. Tuco has a confrontational conversation with his brother, as Dante mentioned before, where Tuco always saw it as his brother left his family, and then his brother saw it as, oh, well, Tuco wasn't around in the end, so he left his family, and both brothers feeling distant, yet both leaving kind of in a resentful manner that they had fought, right? Because Father Pablito asks for forgiveness outright, and then you can tell that Tuco sort of feels pretty shitty when he's sitting on the carriage with the man with no name, and he offers him a cigar, and he's like, "It'll be all right, buddy, cheer up."
The more and more I think about it, Tuco should have been nominated for Best Actor.
Not a single nomination from this movie, because it was released in Italy in 1967, and not until 1968 was it released in America. And by then they were kind of just like, meh.
Tuco should have been nominated. Like the more and more we talk about this scene and like what he did the rest of the movie, everything was way too natural. It never felt like he was acting. He made me feel like I was right there with them. He should have been nominated. Wow.
No, he really, and as Jake pointed out, he had the most screen time.
Like this was his movie. Like that whole scene, that's the most fleshed out anybody was throughout the whole movie. We were seeing everything through his eyes.
To me, and this is going to be a semi-weird comparison, but when people think about a Bond movie, what do you think about? You don't think about James Bond. It's a Bond movie. You think about the villain. You think about the Bond girl.
The car.
Right? The car, right? Which Aston Martin are we driving today? But we have Blondie over here, Mr. Bond.
At first, I thought she was tripping, but now I'm not mad at that comparison, because you're right. We go to this trilogy expecting Clint Eastwood, the man with no name, but we come away with Tuco. Like Tuco was like truly the heart and soul of this movie.
And I'll ask you this. When you think about the movie Casino Royale, who do you think about? Not Daniel Craig. Right. You think about Mads. Right.
Sitting across the table.
Right. When I ask you, oh, what do you think about Goldfinger? Well, you sure as shit ain't thinking about Sean Connery. You're thinking about golden ass, or a big fat guy, or that sexy Aston Martin, or probably even better, Moonraker, right? Isn't that where Jaws is? The side character, Jaws with the metal teeth. You ever seen that?
Which one?
Moonraker?
The Bond movie? No, I haven't seen that one.
I might be totally getting that. It's all right. We'll cut that. But the point being, the vessel for the movie is the man with no name, and yet all of this attention and focus and journey is driven by the villain, the Aston Martin, the Bond girl, Tuco.
You can cut this. What if I went live on TikTok?
Do it. I don't care.
No, and put the name just to draw a little maybe interest from it.
Do it. I don't care. I think it'd be sick. Is a streaming option on here we could do to stream it live to YouTube. while I think you can record it as it'll automatically record if it's streamed. But I mean, that is an option. The problem is it's way rougher than the Final Cut when we're just chatting. But I mean, look, if people eventually, like, let's say we had a Patreon, you know, you could see like a cut with bloopers, right? And then if we had like a paid Twitch stream or something where it's like, hey, you can subscribe to us for like, I don't know, $10 an episode, you get to watch it filmed live.
We'll start doing that, like, so once we get the TikTok up and running,
And then that gives them the option of also paying to ask us questions live and not have to wait, which is a huge incentive as we build a brand and all of these things. You know, that's a serious deal.
Will also help us, you know, more content, more. Oh, we've got a caller on air. Steve, what are your thoughts on the good, the bad?
we'll take calls.
Dude, we want to be like a sports show, but for movies, right? Well, we have to take callers. That's great.
Dragons, this is Steve from Ohio.
Dragons, this is John from Florida, just retired from New York, and my favorite movie has always been Back to the Future. I was just wondering if I could have one of your pairs of Calvins. No, John, you can shut the fuck up.
Hey guys, this is Jason Statham. What the fuck were you guys talking about earlier?
AI, bro. It's AI.
It's AI. Nah, I'm gonna be like, what you? Who was talking about you, Jason? Like, I was talking about Jason Statham. Cause what are you gonna do? Pull up on me?
I am not associating with that, Mr. Statham.
Oh my gosh, dude, no, that would be great. You know, if we like, we're like gonna be honest and banter and like chat shit or, you know, give good graces to whoever deserves it. But like, honestly, like bring an actor on and let us chew them the fuck out. Like, Jason, like you're a good looking guy. You have one of the most attractive women in the world that you're married to, and you know you're worth quite a bit of money, and you're a good actor. You can make good movies. What the fuck is this shit? Like, are you that greedy? Are you that greedy that you can't do a good movie? He's like, well, you know, I'll make like 40 million pounds per fucking movie, mate. Like, you don't even know what good cocaine costs in London. Fuck off.
Wait, who's he married to?
Rose something. She's gorgeous. She's
Rose.
kind of a slut though. Like, she's a yacht girl. She's I mean, not cheating on him. I would assume they're in an open relationship, as most of the celebrities are. But she gets fucked by billionaires on yachts and gets to like show off her body on Instagram.
Oh, they've not been married yet.
Oh, they're just dating?
They're just engaged. They've been engaged since 2016.
They can't come to terms on that contract. That's tough negotiating by the GM right there. Oh yeah, we're about to be live.
I think I'm playing.
All right, enough about married pretty women. Tuco and Blondie are in the middle of a canyon, and Blondie's asleep. Tuco's looking out, and they notice a band of soldiers, and goodness, thank the Lord they are Confederate soldiers, and it's praise General Lee and fuck General Grant and hail the Confederacy and all this jibber jabber and blah blah blah, and oh shit, this ain't the Confederacy.
Now, if they didn't do the full, or I say they, if Tuco didn't do the full, we love General Lee, do you think they could have played off, we are not soldiers, we took these uniforms from dead soldiers?
Oh, I don't think they would.
Nah.
I would have rather them be like, we're just passing by, like we have nothing to do with nothing. They would have probably gotten away with that better than we just took these uniforms.
Well, they still have uniforms on. If you're coming across two dudes in posing uniforms, you're at least taking them into custody.
Oh yeah, no, they were prisoners without a doubt. I mean, the carriage itself said CSA on it, like it was a Confederate carriage. So there's no way the Union band of soldiers, especially that band of soldiers, right, if they're linked with the prison, and then you already heard previous in the movie, like, oh, you don't want to go to them Yankee prisons, like, you know, these guys are like the SS of fucking Texas, and rounding them up and putting them in a camp to get tortured while they play beautiful tunes. That scene is rather fucked, actually, because they're like, yeah, we know the entire time we're playing, one of our own is getting his shit just beaten the fuck in, and they've all like had it done to them before. So it's even worse. It's not like just knowing, you know, because we've seen the experiment of like, oh, the person behind the wall, but they'll still electrocute the guy even though they know he's dead because the doctor told him to, versus like if you had been electrocuted or tased, then like chances are you're not going to kill the person due to electrocution. Like, that's dark, man. It's dark. In a movie that's, I would say, although has a lot of murder and dark themes, it's an yellow, orange tinted, vibey, awesome Western movie. And then you get to this like torture scene, you know, with Angel Eyes and Tuco, and then whatever the big fat grizzly man's name is, and it's just like,
being like the first, like the very first thing pretty much we see after him linking up with his brother. Like that just kind of adds on to it.
yeah, the immediate emotional manipulation by Sergio Leone is diabolical. You know, it's like, oh, this character who's ugly, who's like, I don't know if I should cheer for this guy. I don't know if I should root for this guy. But it's like, oh, he saved Blondie. He's got emotions. He's got a rough past. I'm starting to like him. And then bam, he's tortured. And like eyes being half gouged out, like gross stuff, you know, shitty stuff. Like fuck $200,000, bro. I want my eyeballs.
Yeah,
That's
and
$2,000 if you're dead.
very true. Side note, one thing I really forgot about this movie until I rewatched it is like how much the Civil War was involved. I forgot about that. And I'll say, have y'all ever seen the movie Lion King 1.5?
Yes.
I like this movie because it's like that, but for the Civil War. It's like, yeah, that's happening, and it shows like it plays a major role in things that happen throughout the movie. But it's like not about that. It's about these dudes who got their whole completely own thing going on, and like that just made it extra dope in my eyes, because it's like the Lion King 1.5, where like we're seeing things from just a different perspective, which while also showing different things going on. I don't know. That's just such a cool element to this movie.
Completely agree, and I like how, for the most part, they kept kind of like it was the Union, the Confederacy. But if you watch this movie without knowing anything about the American Civil War, you have no idea why they're fighting, or oh, this side is good, this side's evil. It's oh no, they're the rebels and they're the Union. Sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it works because it's like, you know, sometimes you don't want that, because it's like you want kind of the full information of everything going on and what's happening and how all that relates to this. But when, as you're saying, it's kind of just like an isolated story and they're playing their roles within this, you know, larger universe happening, I thought it worked pretty well.
It was more the soldier being a soldier and just the dynamic of, you know, an infantryman or a person in command or a prison warden or whatever it may be, right? And so that was, you know, the really cool thing about, like you said, not really picking a side as to what's good and bad, but just people are shooting each other and we're gonna have to deal with it and get around it. And that's kind of the gist of like a lot of the trajectory of the journey, you know, because what seems like a pretty simple task, like, oh, I mean, even without the name of this specific grave, you can head to the graveyard and just start digging, right? But it's like all this turmoil and craziness that, you know, brings them to all the different places and people that it does, is it's all because of the war, and simply that.
Well, yeah, there wouldn't even be money if the Confederate soldier didn't steal it. Which is, well, I do say they've, you know, kept the like why the fighting, and it's separately. There's no good, there's bad. I do think that he made the Union soldiers a bit more humane and likable than the Confederate ones. Between the one dude who was like Lee Van Cleef's like a superior officer and was like, you need to stop treating the prisoners bad. And then the dude who kind of takes them in, oh, you want to enlist here, and just kind of like shoving them around the ropes.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I wonder what other movies there are from Hollywood that showcase people that aren't necessarily directly involved in the war.
That's a good category.
Because it's like we get to see how the West is affected by this thing. And these soldiers and these companies are not really moving to further the, you know, course of the Union or the Confederacy in any like major way. It's really just to go grab like, you know, a strategic town or just kind of loot and fuck all.
Going back to your point about the like movies taking place in different settings, I'm really trying to think about one because, and I hate to get off topic, but that's a very good question, and I know I got one on the tip of my tongue, but I just can't like think of the name. So I just wanted to get that on your brains. But in the meantime,
I want to address this elephant in the room that, you know, we've kind of glossed over for the past hour, 33 minutes and 45 seconds. Did anyone else not think he was blonde? Just looking at him like he's got brown hair. I have. Might be a little lighter.
Could they not say gringo? And that was like the Latin term for like white guy, and it's just like blondie. I don't know.
the top of his hair was kind of blonde. And I think it might just be like Tuco not caring. Like, he's like, yeah, you white.
Well, even when Lee Van Cleef first saw him, he was like, oh, you got a golden-haired angel or something watching out for you.
Yeah, he did say that.
Bro pulled off with a baddie, though, by the way, in the carriage.
Can we talk about his character a little bit? I feel like his character was so many different things.
He's so badass. Like, he's the guy that puts on a black suit, a black shirt, a black tie, black Ray-Bans, goes out to the bar, grabs your wife, takes her home, and sends her back to your place before 2 a.m.
Up until the very end, you were describing Lex Luthor.
We should probably react to that.
The Superman movie?
I've already seen it twice.
You've seen it twice?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I might try to bootleg it. I'm not
Me
going
too.
to. I like James Gunn though. I got Guardians on the wall. Have you seen it? It has like the Star Wars poster,
You all? Or
like the Guardians poster on it. It's like a remake of the Star Wars poster, but it's with the Guardian.
the one where Luke's holding up the lightsaber like this? Yeah.
Yeah, we've skipped out on how Angel Eyes has ended up at this prison.
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to talk about. He was so many different things in this movie.
Explain.
First, we're seeing him be like this kind of hitman. Oh, you pay me, I'll go take this person out. Now, all of a sudden, he's wrapped up in this army. Now, and it's kind of like mirrored because Loki, Tuco, and Blondie do a lot of the same thing. Like, oh, now all of a sudden we're Confederate soldiers. Now all of a sudden we're yada yada in this church. But like in my church, I just feel like he had not a lot going on, but he had a lot of different faces.
I kind of missed it watching it through, but then we got to the civil, like that camp scene. I think the beginning when he starts talking to the dude is like, I know of this money that's missing. That kind of was the implication that he knows of this money because he's a Union soldier, like he's a ranking Union officer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he kind of gets the leniency to kind of do it.
Right. Because
Tuco gets sent to his death on the train, and he very, very wise. You know, I don't know. If I'm in charge of taking a prisoner somewhere, I don't care if they can't pee, if I'm looking at them or something. I'm not taking my eyes off this prisoner. It's classic. Your prisoner is going to try and escape by any means necessary. Your job is to not let him escape by any means necessary. He's going to be looking for any sort of weakness in you or time you are lacking. That guy 100% deserved to get smashed into the back of his head with a rock.
for a lot of reasons.
Also, one other reason is because, he was pushing Tuco's head in this way and his head ended up going up that way.
Do you think he was dead before Tuco started smashing his head on the ground, or do you think he was
He was still
just
alive.
unconscious?
Yeah, he was definitely, yeah. You followed a train, you're hitting your head a couple times. You might lose sense, but you're not, that's not gonna kill you. Here's a fun fact. When Tuco was getting his chain smashed, like the chain broken free, they used a real train, of course, because, back then, you just do whatever you want and you just hope no one gets hurt. Which you can see there was in the wide shot, there's a bar on the train that they weren't expecting, like towards the ground, and his head apparently like almost got like taken out of by it. But that was the second time he almost died on set. Where do you guys think the first time that he almost died on set was?
When the cannonball hit the building and he had to fall through all the rubble and the rubble landed on him.
It was actually, as far as what'd you say?
If it wasn't that, then it was the horse.
When he was hanging on and Clint Eastwood shoots the rope, it scared the horse, and the horse just took off with him on it with his hands tied behind his back. So he was like gripping on the horse with his legs like for life. Horse ran like a mile.
Bro, they did not pay him enough for that movie. They did.
How much did he get paid? What was the billing of the cast, I wonder?
Ooh, now we're going into another question on the trivia list.
Okay, never mind.
Be
All right.
careful. I only have one
jump ahead and continue with the story, and we'll do factual nonsense later. So, after the brutal torture and the subsequent vengeance, I'm vengeance.
Great
As done by Tuco.
Best Batman movie.
We should have a proper talk about that.
You're out of your fucking mind.
Maybe even a longer episode where we watch both The Dark Knight and the Batman and compare them, but that needs to be tackled.
Batman is the best one. I'm with
The
it.
best Batman movie?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
What's better?
Batman
Well,
Begins is the best Batman movie.
Okay, for his Anthony
Wait,
movies.
Batman Begins?
All right. The Dark Knight is the best film
No.
that is centered around Batman. Batman Begins is the best Batman movie. The most accurate depiction of comic book Batman in film is Matt Reeves' The Batman. There is a three-headed horse here, and that is exactly how he was made by the good Lord before he was given to us in 2005, in 2021, and 2008.
I was specifically talking about between the Dark Knight and the Batman, and I'm saying the Batman's a better movie. I just can't for but no, I'm not mad at that take, not at all. But
because it's right.
But this is going on TikTok. I'll say it. I wholeheartedly believe. No, this will get us way too off topic. I'll say this later because y'all are gonna argue.
What movie are we reviewing again?
The Matrix.
This is the Graduate episode.
Hot Tub Time Machine 2.
I think my next movie might be a comedy. Actually, never mind. I know my next movie. But...
All right. So Blondie and Angel Eyes are headed out to go find the cemetery with the grave that only is known by one man who's alive, and that be Blondie. And throughout their travels, Blondie shoots one of Angel Eyes' men, but Angel Eyes has 4 other men.
5 other men.
There was 6 of them. Hello. Wait.
No, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I just I had to play it out.
He got 6 bullets because he was like 6 times 2 was 3.
Well, I was thinking about the guy he killed in the town before they found out anything. And okay, yeah. So he's captured once again. Oh, well, no, he's not captured, but
partnership, but it's a shaky partnership. It's a one-sided.
He's like a ward almost to Angel Eyes, and so he's with this posse. They're waiting around this town. There's not shit to do except for dodge mortars, right? And then they're on the tail of Tuco, who's bathing. That I think is my favorite kill of the entire film, where he's hiding the gun in the bubbles and he's like, don't talk when you should shoot, or whatever he says,
Even though if he shot Clint Eastwood at the beginning instead of trying to just put him through a rope around his neck and just killed him, then the movie would be over.
Right, because he learned his lesson.
For him though,
that line was also improvised.
Which one?
The when you want to shoot, don't talk.
Yeah. Okay.
Really?
Did a lot for character.
So Blondie comes in the same way as Tuco does, sort of this mirror through the mortar-stricken wall, and the two of them are back together, the dynamic duo once again, and Tuco's quite happy because this is his brother in crime, the man that fills the void of his missing father and doesn't really give a shit about him brother, and so here he is back in his life, and they're traveling. And explain this. I understand not being able to see the Union scouts and them pulling up. But you're telling me you've got 1,000, 1,500, maybe more men on a rocky hill, which, hey, last time I checked, rocky valleys are pretty echoey, right? And so it's 2,000 fucking guys with cannons and guns and horses and all this other clink clank bullshit. You didn't hear any of that? And then suddenly 5 feet away from where you were just captured by the scouts, a whole fucking army. That part was the only part where I'm guys, you could this is already a long movie with long travel shots and landscapes. You couldn't do an extra 15 seconds of them walking through the woods and a wood shot and then there's the army.
You can even make it shorter. Or have them walk out of the frame, and then you could even like pan if you want, but just cut the pan and then have them walk into a different frame of them coming to everyone. It's just
Yeah, I was like,
Oh wait, question. That girl that Lee Van Cleef beat on. How did you hear about her?
I heard you mention the name Bill Carson. She was a whore that the Confederate Army had used, and she was sleeping with Bill Carson for like the extended period of time that they were in the town, and that was his like main hoe, I guess. And then she caught feels, and he left, and then she was like, "Oh, Bill, are you back?"
I'll give y'all another fun fact real quick. Lee Van Cleef does not hit women. He was outright refused to hit this woman, and she was like, "It's okay, I'm an actress, I can take it." And he was like, I don't hit women and I don't kick dogs." So they had to bring in a body double for when he hit her for that scene.
Would you
Yes.
smack?
Next question.
Well, you know, if it's a well-written character and it happens to be such a dramatic movie that requires such a serious unfolding of violence in a domestic setting, then perhaps my character could strike a woman, but in real life, you know, it only happens when they're Eastern European and I'm high on cocaine and I'm in Dubai. But that's all beside the point. You know, I don't hit real women.
And they had a plan because the money was on the other side of the valley, and they had to figure out a way to get past all the soldiers, which led to one of the funniest parts of the movie, in my opinion, when they were carrying the box of explosives on the stretcher with the explosives, the side that's red explosives always facing the camera, which I thought was awesome.
The worst thing Tuco and Blondie did in this movie was steal the little stretcher where they had the guy with the broken leg on it. You could hear the dude screaming in the back.
Dude, and then when they run into the two other medics that are carrying that guy out right in front of the bridge, they like faked like they're gonna help the guy on the ground. They're like, nope. And then they grab the explosives and just keep walking. Imagine that guy's alive, like semi-comatose but breathing, and it's like, oh, nope.
I'd be sick. That's a good that's a funny revenge movie plot. Like this dude, like movie starts off with this dude like dying, like in the middle of a battle. He thinks somebody's gonna help him and they don't, and he goes after them. Oh yeah, I'm gonna write that.
Let's read it. Let's see it.
I'm gonna write that. When it does 100 mil at the box, we're gonna come back to this recording. But
yeah, speaking of that, I mean, just thinking about the aspect ratio of the film, it is such a wide shot, you know, and it's great for the landscapes, but like we were talking about earlier, you know, it keeps it tight on our characters. It's sort of adding this mystery as to like we see part of their motive, but we don't know their entire person, right? We see where they're looking, but we don't know where they're moving, you know, this sort of a thing. And bless you.
Thank you.
But I think also, you know, just like you said, the scale, like the mass amounts of extras that you had to have for these battle scenes and just the massive sets that you have to create, all the characters, and then even just filming the landscapes, I'm sure were semi-difficult. I mean, you have to make sure nothing's going on, and it's all probably, I would assume, public land, like a national park or something. So it's just like, you know, how much effort went into like a simple pan of the desert, you know? That's the kind of thing like I'm wondering about, because, you know, I feel like we're sort of used to like this dialogue acting and shooting and directing and stuff, but it's like all of that extra stuff, all the extra cuts, all those like we're watching the horse walk away, or, you know, we're watching these guys pull up, or oh, it's just a pan of wherever we are. It's what all went into the craziness of that.
What happened when it was like all the time you're outside, some clouds in the sky for the day? Are you just not shooting that day? Or you can't? You're like, all right, let's just shoot one of the inside scenes today then and switch it out because you have 4 inside scenes all movie.
And you can't even, it's not like today where you could just like, oh, let's immediately see what we did. Can't do that. This is why I love movies from back in the day. Like I'm not saying artists today, I mean directors today aren't artists, but they were like true artists in the sense that they had to hit things when they hit things. And they did. They made stuff like this, which is.
And while we're there, no like special like CGI. All that whole war scene when they blew up the bridge and all that was done, like they did that. Originally, they were set up the bridge and they were going to blow it up on Sergio Leone's signal, but there was someone else in the walkie-talkie who said like a similar word in Spanish or Italian, whatever language they were speaking at the time, and the guy blew up the bridge pretty much early, and the entire like none of the cameras were rolling or anything like that. And of course, Sergio Leone was pissed because blew up the fucking bridge, so we fired the crew member. And the captain was like, "Yo, dude, we are so sorry. We will rebuild this bridge. Can you please unfire or rehire that guy?" And Sergio Leone was like, "Sure." And then they had to do it all over again. Sure, no one was on the walkie-talkie second time around, or maybe he gave the command in person.
Golly,
That would have me like putting myself in Sergio's shoes. I don't even know what I would do.
The comparison would be if we jumped that car through the Regal without the cameras rolling.
I've thought about that a lot. Like I've thought about us doing that.
We are triple checking. We're getting 3 different angles. I don't care. We only need one. We're just getting them
Literally
behind the scenes if we need to.
double and triple check always.
And yeah, that's a good thing to like when my 2 people communicating, just cut all communication. But yeah, man.
All right, so the 2 blow up the bridge in extraordinary fashion and then take heavy cannon fire for what seems to be like quite a long time. And lo and behold, the graveyard and the iconic music from your favorite cerveza playing in the background. Go.
Not without Tuco trying to screw over the man with no name once again. Now that he thinks he knows the name of the grave,
Yeah.
he takes off.
What's the name? What is the false name?
Is that a question? Is that a trivia question?
Arch Staunton.
Art
Stanton.
What a great twist! Because like, how would he know the name? How would he know some random name in the grave?
The 2 are met by Angel Eyes, who holds him at gunpoint, and then Blondie picks open the grave, shows everyone that this indeed is not the place where the gold lies, my friends. And then we get into arguably the greatest standoff in cinema, set up by Blondie, who we only know in hindsight does not have a name written down, and yet is still the only person who knows, dead or alive, where this thing is hidden. And so he bluffs his way into a 3-man Mexican standoff.
Why would he even put a name on that rock? Even if there was a name, why would he put a name on the rock? You should have, I know Van Cleef fumbled again. You should have checked the rock first. Like, let me just make sure there's at least something there.
None of it looked like he wrote something. Like it looked like he was actually writing.
I completely agree. To the audience, to Angel Eyes, and to Tuco, this is a 3-way rock, paper, scissors, right? Everyone's got a 33% chance of choosing the quote-unquote correct guy, right? If you all shoot each other, you're all dead. If 2 guys shoot the same guy, then only one of you has to be faster than the other guy, right? I.e. 33%. So the only way, in theory, anyone is left alive is one person is left alive. Unless, of course, which is the great twist of this, you gave an unloaded gun to one of the men. You knew it, but no one else knows it. So with said unloaded gun, you have to shoot the only man with the gun. And as long as you're faster than the only guy with the other gun, you win the game. So completely in control because he's been the fastest gun in the West as far as we're concerned, right? This guy's a fucking freak. Completely in control. Why wait so long when he could just shoot Angel Eyes? He knows Tuco doesn't have a loaded gun. He knows he's cool. Why?
So he could have that suspicion, like, because if he just tried to shoot him, say he had great aim, but say he missed, he knows Tuco don't have a loaded gun. If Angel Eyes has to keep his toes, like keep his head on the swivel for both people, he's like, that's a 50% less chance that he's gonna have his attention on me. You see what I'm saying?
Fair.
And like, I think they're kind of.
But they both chose the bad. Once again, Tuco and his loyalty.
I'd say it's less loyalty and more, I, 1, hate this guy more. 2, at least know that Clint Eastwood has at least left me alive when he tried to screw me over in the past.
That's true, actually, because Tuco was the only one that got done dirty by both. The other one had only been like either or. Another reason why I took her to go.
So the movie concludes with the good and the ugly splitting 4 bags, gold coins against each other, splitting a horse apiece. Or sorry, not a horse. 1 horse to the good. The ugly man gets to stand on a crucifix and try to stay balanced. I like that final Blondie! Blondie! And then the last one. Oh,
When
this
you have-
shit's so hard.
When you have movies like this, sometimes it can be hard to define stakes because you know that at the end of the day, Clint Eastwood is walking away, like he's going to be victorious. So having those moments where it's like, okay, the movie's basically wrapped up. Is he going to free Tuco or is he going to kill Tuco? There's such great ways to just add some suspense to somewhere else. Like,
That's a
'cause
great
even
point.
though the standoff was suspenseful, never once did I think, oh, I think Lee Van Cleef's going to win this one, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good point. And it just goes to show good writing, you know. That's what good writing is. We're feeling something from the start of the movie. Confusion is the first thing we're thinking, because like, who the fuck are these 3 guys? And then it's suspense. And then finally relief. And that just timeless, you know, tune. Wah 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 wah.
It's also a great callback to how the movie started. Like you back up on that rope, and Blondie got the final get back. It's kind of funny how like a noose kind of perfectly represents their relationship. Like
What a great shot too when it's kind of like right in between
one of the greatest. Bro, I love Sergio. Y'all don't get it. I went on like a huge Sergio binge, watched all his movies, top 2. It's
They're not many.
This is it, huh?
They're
Yeah,
not
it's only like 7. But yeah, such a
Nice.
fun.
So, gentlemen, final thoughts and a rating out of 10. Personal rating.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought I've been kind of on a Western binge recently, and I thought this is, you know, on the upper echelon of them. I liked all the characters. You have 3 characters. It's you can't even really say, you know, the hero, the villain, and then the ugly. It's what kind of is. But each of them will hold their own in their own way. They stand out. Good, tense sequences, like fighting sequences. I give it, I give it a 9 out of 10. I do have to say, I did like for a few dollars more. But
I haven't seen any of the others that are in this trilogy.
I also agree with Jake that I think For a Few Dollars More is the best one, just because of like I like the journey element of this, but there was a lot more like suspense, I guess, in For a Few Dollars More. And I feel like it's a little more unpredictable.
I thought there was a little bit more light humor. I know we're not different movie, but like for example, when he's like counting at the end of the movie, when he's counting his bounties, and he's like, oh yes, 5,000, 6,000, something. And the other guy jumps out and tries to shoot him, and shoots him. He's like, oh yes, there's 7,000, and puts it back. I'm like, that was hilarious.
No, yeah, I love For a Few Dollars More, man. But for me, I'll say like a cool 9.4. Definitely. I think this is like, I know Letterboxd and they top 250 got a like top 10. I'm pretty sure. That's an interesting question. I feel like we should have checked this for like a lot of these. And I'm not
okay. So on IMDb, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is an 8.8, and it is rated 10th.
10th.
Yeah.
Letterboxd got it at 19 with a 4.5. And I'm not one, like, I hate these rating systems for a lot of time, like, just to put that out to the world. I hate them because a lot of them are stupid, but it could be interesting to talk about, but not Rotten Tomatoes at all.
No, Rotten Tomatoes sucks balls. The way that I like to tell people who aren't really into the film culture and all of that stuff is IMDb is what your friend that you go to the bar with thinks about this movie. Letterboxd is the pretentious asshole that you know at work that watches film, and that's what he thinks about the movie. Both very worthwhile opinions.
So,
huh?
I feel like there's different Letterboxd users though, because I personally do think when it comes to like the numbers, I do think Letterboxd is the best one, like out of all of them I've seen. I feel like they kind of get it more right than other ones. Also, side note, like I said, The Good, the Bad, and Ugly is rated 19th or ranked 19th. Lahine is actually 18th, so that's kind of interesting.
Interesting. Lahine on
Into Lane. Yeah.
It's all good.
Fine.
It's all good. Lahane on IMDb is.
Probably like 40 or 50 because
If I'm not seeing this correct, it's not even in the top 50. Let me look
because
it up.
the drunk dude at the bar doesn't watch foreign movies.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I really like Letterboxd's like rankings. Like I'm cool with Harakiri being number one. I love that movie. Harakiri is so lit. Oh, y'all gotta watch that one day. It's fire. And like it's bloody.
I don't think it's in the
America only got 2 movies in the top 10. Oh, three.
yeah, like I said,
Shawshank and Godfather.
it's the pretentious film people and not like your average American film goer, which is what IMDb is.
12 second.
Oh, Lahane's not rated on IMDb.
Yeah.
So, wait, 8.1.
Yeah, but it's not on the top 100, top 250 list. I think the movie's an 8.5 out of 10 for me. I don't have a problem with it. It's just not the most rewatchable movie for me. You know,
3 hours is a long time to be rewatchable. You know
that does do it. However, there's a handful of 2.5 hour, 3 hour plus movies that I could definitely watch quite frequently. But like I said, I think the movie's great. I had, an awesome time watching it and talking about it and learning more about it. And I think it's something that I want to revisit after I watch the other 2 in the trilogy, but Westerns have never really been my thing anyway, spaghetti or otherwise, but good movie. Like I said, just not like my particular cup of tea. So an 8.5 out of 10.
Let's jump into some trivia.
Let's do it.
So question, if somebody, say like me earlier, randomly blurts out an answer to somebody's trivia, do they get the point for that? Because like it's not like nobody had time to catch them. And it's kind of gonna be like a not competitive, because I don't want us like going out of our way to try to just say stuff if it comes naturally. Like last week, if somebody was like, "Oh, did y'all know Dustin Hoffman was so and so?" I would be like, "Oh well, dang." But like they said it naturally.
So I'm gonna argue against no, because if you have new questions, and it makes the trivia thing fair and makes the rest of it cool, because we're just extremely knowledgeable.
All right.
We could also have some like cool clips of us crashing out because someone stole the trivia question in the middle of the episode.
We gotta be a little more dramatic with our opinions and with like stuff. You know what I mean?
Fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Stephen A. This simply is not the New York Knicks that you are used to, Stephen A. This ain't the New York Knicks with Patrick Ewing that you knew when you grew up in New York, all right?
Sure.
This is the thong wearing, the paparazzi shot taking New York Knicks, all right? You need a good big team like the Oklahoma City Thunder, Stephen A. That's who you need, big guy in the paint, Chet Holmgren, young guy, good on the spin move. That's what you need, Stephen A. That's what you need.
Mickey Squad.
Whoa. Maggie Gyllenhaal does not do it for me as the...
Dude, what a pull!
You can't tell me they weren't spitting though. They was spitting, bro. I saw a tweet one time that was like, bro, Maggie Gyllenhaal, like you couldn't blackmail with me because like, bro, set the block on fire. I don't care.
Bro, she's ugly as fuck. She's not hot. And then but then the best thing was he was like, you need to get a fine piece in there, like the Halle Berry, Jada Pinkett Smith.
No, if they captured Halle Berry, I would have became Superman.
Bro.
Well, she already had, wasn't she an X-Men? Yeah.
No, the problem, see, Katie Holmes, fun fact about the movie, Katie Holmes was lined up to do The Dark Knight, and the problem with all that bullshit was she had the fallout with Tom Cruise, and then she got sued for like her, fake business case or whatever that was, and she was kind of seen as like a shitty person, so they didn't continue with her.
Damn.
That's another reason why the Batman is better than Zoe Kravitz. Who would you rather save?
Well, if we're comparing Catwoman's, we gotta look at
I know, but I'm still picking Zoe. Anne is lit though. I love Anne. She a legend. I'm still picking Zoe.
That blonde chick that Bruce Wayne takes to the hotel in the Aventador, and she bathes in there. That's the one I want to say.
I got my pencil.
Yeah. Let's get ready for trivia.
You up for Catwoman or Black Cat?
Wait, what?
Catwoman.
Catwoman or Black Cat?
Catwoman. And the only acceptable answer for the most attractive Catwoman is the Arkham Games Catwoman. I'm not trying to be weird. Y'all can say I'm weird. I get it, but like,
Check something real quick.
just saying, bro.
All right, well, I do this. Question 1. The shooting had to be delayed one day because Clint Eastwood did not receive his payment. They could not come to a terms on how much he would be paid. The final payment was this amount of money plus one Ferrari.
So this final payment is the final payment of a set of payments, or like the sum total he made plus the Ferrari?
This is the sum total payment he made for this movie plus the Ferrari. Well, you don't have to say the Ferrari. He got a Ferrari.
What kind of Ferrari was it, by the way?
I'm not sure. Looking at them.
I know for a fact. I had a friend like tell me this before, and I can't remember. Okay.
All right.
I know.
And then we'll do like within like, I don't know, $50,000.
Okay.
All right. Let's see it. $1 million. Dante, do you have your number?
1.5.
The correct answer is $250,000.
I knew. When you said $50,000, that scared me and made me change my answer. I wasn't gonna get it still, but I knew it wasn't that high.
All right. Question number 2. A Fistful of Dollars was a remake of a film by this director. Oh wait, never mind. We can't do this one. We already did this one. In the intro sequence.
Kurosawa.
Correct. In the intro sequence, all 3 of our main characters kill the same amount of people. How many people? Show me. Ready?
Yep.
All right. 2 and what do you say?
3.
3 is correct.
Yeah, I was about to say I knew you go kill 3 people.
Because Tuco kills the 3 dudes that come in.
Wait,
Then
who was
Cleve
the third
kills.
person? Yeah,
What?
Tuco only killed the 2 dudes that came in. The guy that came in to shoot Tuco in the bathtub was a guy whose arm he blew off. It was the 3rd guy of that group. That was the only thing that explained his revenge on Tuco.
It was mad people shot. Because Van Cleef has
Van Cleef has
the dude.
4.
3. The first dude that he killed.
the
Then
kid.
his kid when he runs down the hall. And then the dude who, sent him. He's like, oh, this guy should. Yep. And then Clint Eastwood has the 3 dudes who line up. Let me recheck. Let me pull up the IMDb. Because I worded it. If I worded it wrong, I will give you both get the point.
I could be wrong.
Nice little play review. It's a challenge. Are we able to challenge now? We should do that.
Yes, so challenge has been successful. I worded it as kills people. This fact was shoot people. So both of you are correct as
Yeah.
shot, but
Yeah.
in the
Call me
sense
Prime
of
fucking Mike Tomlin, bitch. Call me
Tuco,
Prime
only
fucking
2
Mike
people
Tomlin.
were killed. So that's arbitrator's problem fault. So I'll declare both points for that one successful.
Just up the stage.
That just up the stakes.
So what is it? 1-1?
1-1. All right.
Still 2-1, man. I'm hot. I'm pissed.
All right. Well, only this is a real difficult here. Only 2 characters other than the 3 main characters speak English throughout the film, which I don't know if you noticed some of the scenes where they sound like a dubbed anime protagonist. But yeah, if you were wondering why, that is the reason. Most, like everyone else, either spoke in Italian or Spanish because that's where they were like shooting, and it was Italian crew, Spanish actors. Of those 2 English-speaking characters, name one.
Can I get can you repeat the question again?
There are 5 characters in the movie who use English throughout.
Mhm.
Of the actors, the 3 title characters, and 2 other ones. Name one of those other ones. You don't have to give them their actual name, just like about them,
Okay.
All right. Let me know when you guys are ready. And we have at least talked about one of them.
Okay, I'm right now. I know I'm right. I got it.
Okay. Okay.
I'm confident now. I could be looking stupid. I don't know, but
Again, all trivia questions are sponsored by the IMDb trivia page. If everyone watching thinks I'm wrong, don't blame me. Blame IMDb.
All
and,
right.
if we wrong, come whoop Jake about it.
All right. Let's see our answers. Prison warden and
I
what?
put Shorty.
What?
I put Shorty. Dude with who had his bottom half missing.
All of those are incorrect.
Ooh.
Gun store owner is a good guess though. It was the one-armed man who comes in for the bathtub and the sheriff of the town. I think they only speak like 1 or 2 lines each, which is probably why they're the only characters who only spoke in English, because had to throw in a tough question to.
I don't like that question, Jake.
For sure, Shorty was American. He just had an American vibe.
I don't think he spoke. I don't think he did much speaking too. Kind of hard in the next round.
Like he had that scene with Lee Van Cleef too, where like Lee was giving him the money.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm right. I just thought he was.
If there was a blame IMDb, if there was, it was not. I'm gonna butcher his name, but Ennio
Morricone.
Ennio Morricone wanted the infamous soundtrack, sound noise to sound like a specific animal one might find in the Wild West. What is this animal?
That
Yes, that exact yes.
It's an animal.
Animal.
It all defines animal.
You can take the definition of it as ever you want.
don't say it.
Answers in, locked.
Locked and ready.
All right, what we got?
I'm blanking on animals. I swear.
Oh, a couple more seconds.
One more second.
There's only 50,000 fucking animals. Pick one.
You right. All right, go ahead.
Oh, no. You got one?
Yeah.
All right. Vulture.
Oh, I deleted the E. I'm not stupid, guys. I promise I can spell.
Dante.
Fox. I know I'm wrong.
Close. You were close with Fox. The answer was coyote.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking of that.
Oh. You don't really think of them as like out west animals.
No, we have coyotes in the backyard.
Yeah.
You kind of think of them like kind of just like always around. You don't think of them like specifically for the West.
They
Interesting.
got coyotes over there?
Yeah, they got the coyotes, they got the big-eared foxes, they got drug mules, the other kind of coyotes.
Question 5. When they shot the battle scene towards the end of the movie, they used Spanish soldiers as extras. How many Spanish soldiers did they use?
What's the over under?
We'll give it 50. 100.
Ooh.
We'll give it 100. We'll give it 100.
All right.
No, I'm not gonna second guess myself. This is probably super wrong, but I don't know. It seems like a lot of extras. I'm ready.
All right. Show them when you're good.
300.
300. The answer is 1,500.
Get the fuck out of here, pussy! Yeah, that's the number. And he said 1,500 earlier in the episode too.
You said 1,500 earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
You said when there was like 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 soldiers on the cliff face. And in my head, I was thinking, oh, he's gonna ruin a question. But no. It was we were chilling.
This is so mixed out. I should have 2 right now. He wouldn't have got that Kurosawa answer.
Yep, that's right. Your favorite dragon, Monty, has 2 rings now.
The Kurosawa question that got cut, and the me speaking wrong about the question. My
A dub
misword.
is a dub. A dub
Mickey
is a
Mouse
dub.
wins.
A dub is a dub. A dub is a dub. I'll take my win. A win is a win. Nah. I'm all about the dirty game, man. I'm all about winning dirty, man. I'll play however you got to play to win, and I won today, and that's what matters, all right? The green dragon is on top. The green dragon is on top.
People know what they see. They know what they saw. They know what they saw.
Yeah, well, I mean, they can chat shit in the comments, but I mean, it's tough shit when I'm editing and I give myself a fat dub.
Hey, all I know is my words better not be cut. They better know the truth.
They won't be. They'll know the truth. This whole interaction will be in the final cut. We're gonna stay out west for next week's movie, but we're gonna take a little trip through time to the year 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, this is without a doubt a comfort movie of mine. One of my most coveted and favorite movies that I own in my library and that I watch on at least a twice a year basis. Featuring the lovely Emily Blunt, the wicked Benicio del Toro, and the always amazing Josh Brolin. Ladies and gentlemen, directed by Denis Villeneuve, Sicario.
I got some takes about Sicario. I love it though.
Seen it once, but I was so high during it, I do not recall a single thing that happened.
Bro,
What? Dude, I've literally seen this movie like 10, 15 times. I love it.
I was in the exact same boat as Jake. Where I've seen it once, and like I was so gone. Like I was in like a daze, and like I don't remember a lot of it. Like I was kind of asleep, but not really. I love Denis. He's definitely one of our greatest working directors. I've fallen asleep at least once during every single one of his movies, and I don't mean that as disrespect. I'm just saying I've fallen asleep.
Interesting.
See, I can't even like hate because I'm pretty sure the same situation happened in Blade Runner 2049 where I was
They're not bad movies, but I just like fell asleep.
Yeah. I was thoroughly entertained and I was excited to watch more.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it again. So I am.
Cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, young and old, it has been a pleasure to bring to you another episode 5.
Cruising along.
The dragons become good, bad, and ugly. And next week, the dragon becomes a Sicario. We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Ciao.